pageantry, tradition, and everything that makes college football great. As we'll see a team from the Pac-12, the Arizona State Sun Devils, taking on a team from the Sun Belt, the LSU Tigers. For EA Sports College Football, I'm Reese Davis, joined here in the booth, as always, by David Pollack and the Sun Devils will kick it away to start us off. On the move from inside his 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. The Tigers offense takes the field to start this game off. And there he is. When you have a guy like this, you don't mind building your attack around the running game, guys.
And he's a grown man. There's no doubt about it. This offense runs through him. Everybody gets their emotion, and everything is built on him and around him.
And everybody knows this guy's going to touch the football, and still, defenses can't stop him. He can run through tackles and make big things happen.
Give to the running back. Fights off a defender. Knocked down at the 31 after a gain of 5.
Man, this guy is so scary when he has the ball in his hands. He kind of reminds me, he's got a little bit of Leonard Fournette. He's got a little bit of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you know, just that shake and bake. And when they get in the second level, DBs just don't seem to know how to tackle this guy. You don't want to submarine, he might hurl over you, but if you don't go in with conviction, and he's got the speed to get outside and take it the distance, this dude just makes your heart stop every time he has the ball.
Off the play fake on first down to throw. Heaves it on the run. Throws it back across his body, and what do you think happened? Intercepted. And he's wrapped up after a solid return on the pick.
And I tell you what, defensively, you want to set the tone, and you gave up a few plays, but bowed your neck, got a big turnover. That's what you dream about. You dream about forcing a turnover, especially on the first possession. Offense, it's your turn.
This crowd, full throat, splitting the eardrums and letting them know it's going to be a long day. Leaves it with the back. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Eight-yard pickup on first down leaves them with second and short. Trying play action. Throws to the wideout. Finds a man in the middle. Really nice pickup on that one as they get it to the 36. It'll be first down.
And I love the awareness by the wide receiver on that play because I'm not sure that route was supposed to be that deep. You got to wonder if the receiver decided maybe to adjust the route a little bit to make sure that he got the first down.
They make the stop after the catch, and still some work to do to pick up that first down. From the gun, the running back looking for room. The Sun Devils get the first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Off the play fake on first down to throw. Just too much heat that time, and they knock him down at the 31.
Well, the problem with the play-action game is that it forces the QB to hold on to the ball just a little bit longer to allow some of these plays to develop. And, of course, that gives this defense longer to get after.
The first down sack pushes the ball back for this long second down. He's looking to throw. And he was hit just as he released it, and it falls to the turf. Better find the earplugs. Here comes the noise, backing this defense on third down. Looking to throw, and he needs a bunch. And the quarterback runs out of time, and down he goes at the 38.
Not a ton of play calls for third in California when you're on offense. You know you're going to have your quarterback holding on to the football. You really got to think about how you're going to protect him. Offensive coordinator may want to think about using more max protect schemes, get more bodies in to give this quarterback a chance.
And now on fourth down, they'll try a field goal. Everything will have to be clean from 55 yards away. And he's got it counted all the way to 55. Never in doubt.
how nice is it as a head coach to have a kicker like this? It makes these decisions on fourth down so much easier. Just trot him out there and let him stroke it through the uprights.
So after putting 3 on the board, the kickoff team is out there ready to boot it away. Looks as if the returner will try and field this one. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. The Bayou Bengals will run the offense out onto the field. Boy, they hope this next drive is more productive after throwing a pick last time, Jesse.
Yeah, and the coaches did a good job on the sideline there, just talking to the young quarterback and making sure he's able to turn the page, calm him down, to go out and refocus this drive.
Yeah, and some people do that better than others, but you got to show some trust in him, maybe get the ground game going, help around him a little bit with this system.
Tight end finds a soft spot, and he gets it to the 44-yard line. It'll be a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. The RPO fired complete to the left. And they pick up just a few on that completion. Tried to pound it on first down, now back to the line. They'll try the right side. Solid fundamentals on that tackle from this freshman. They'll snap it from the 48 on 3rd and short. They'll try to run for it. Nice job to pick up the first down, and they'll spot it at the 42. The Tigers come to the line with a new set of downs. They'll throw it on first down. He's got the tight end. They make the stop, trying to pick up just a little bit at a time to get to that first down marker. Line getting set on 2nd down. From the gun, running back on the move. Moves it forward just a bit, a pickup of 1 to the 35. 3rd and short here from the 35. Might take a shot here if this is 4-down territory. Open space at the 25. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one, and they've got enough for the first down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. They've moved it to the 19, 1st and 10. The handoff as they run the counter play here. Nowhere to run on that one. He loses 4 on the carry. Lost yardage leaves them looking at 2nd and 14. The give to the lone running back. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Ball's at the 24. A lot of confidence in their kicker from here, but they'd love to take it off of his foot and convert the first down. Pocket starts to collapse. Trying to make magic with his feet. And sure, tackling there to keep him from getting to the first down marker. It's 4th down, and they'll try the field goal. Good, right down the boulevard. And after the 3-spot guys, we're all tied up. And we're all square as he's set to kick it away. And he'll bring it out of the end zone. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Arizona State has the ball back in the offense, making its way onto the field. They'll start this drive with a pass. Trying to get to him. Didn't have much of a choice there, but to get rid of it. Listen to this crowd just shaking the girders of this place, trying to help their defense. He leaves it with his back. Solid gain to get him out close to the 20. Pick up a 5 to the 19. And the Sun Devils come to the line in the hurry-up. From the gun, he'll try to throw for it on 3rd down. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down. They bring the punter onto the field now. First time we've seen their punt team this afternoon. No return coming. He'll call for the fair catch. The offense lining up for a first down play. A little pre-snap eye candy for the defense. Swings it out to the flat. And just a short, safe pass play, they pick up a few. After the productive first down play, it's 2nd and 6. Out of the gun, the inside handoff to the running back. They get him on the ground, but not before he gets enough for the first down. Now they'll try to cash in this drive, 1st and 10 from the 50. Might as well give it to him again.
All right, well, the offense here, they're trying to get this run game established. They obviously don't break off a long run there, but they're just trying to find their footing at this point.
Power football with the run. He's brought down, but there's a flag on the field. Let's see what the call is.
Hold it, open.
They say you could call holding on every play. Well, they did on that one. They'll run it from the gun. And he's stuffed by that big defensive tackle up front. Some third down conversions tougher than others. This one, a long one on 3rd down from the 43. Looking downfield, and he needs a bunch. And the defense is all over the quarterback, and down he goes.
Yeah, and the defensive lineman, you know, 3rd and long situations, I'm rushing the quarterback. You bring in the nickel, a little bit more speed on the field, and the defensive line gets home and gets the sack on 3rd down.
LSU will bring the punt team on the field. He'll call for the fair catch here. Arizona State is going back on offense, and they come out looking for a spark. To the air on 1st down. Quickly complete. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a 1st down. No huddle offense to the line. Wants to throw on 1st down. Quickly out to the tight end. And that defense pushing him out of bounds after a short gain.
I'll say this, man, in college football you see a lot of bad tackling. You didn't see it right there. That was an awesome job. First off, being there at the point of attack. Once the tight end made the catch, there was no doubt he was going down. Great job for him, Tom.
And they try to run inside, and there is nowhere to go. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. And they got him. They'll get him down for the sack. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. The Sun Devils line up to punt it away. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. They'll get down and put a stop to the return at about the 28-yard line. LSU will dive into the playbook here on offense. Pre-snap motion quarterback trying to get a read. He's got him in the flat. And he'll step across the sidelines after making a good gain on that one. It's 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Looking to move it through the air. And it's incomplete. If you're going to take a hit like that, you might as well hang on to the ball. Here comes the offense on 2nd down. He's looking to throw. He's got his man. They'll pick up 5. It'll be 3rd and 5. Trying to pick up a 1st down. Shotgun snap on 3rd down. Quickly complete. There to make the tackle, and that's how we'll wrap up this 1st period. We played one, and we are right back where we started, all tied up after the 1st period as we take a look at the stats. After that tight 1st quarter, this 2nd period ought to be a lot of fun. The Tigers are on the move. Going up top on first down. He's got his man.
That's why the bullet pass is so important. Sometimes these defenses, they don't give you big windows to throw into. You want to take that chance, but you cannot lob that football down the field and get it in there. Nice use of the bullet pass, my friend.
Sweet feet on the move. He stops him at the 31, but not before. He picks up 10 yards on the play. Defense didn't maintain its discipline there, and they get into the neutral zone. It'll cost them 5 yards. Defense a little too eager. That's an encroachment penalty, 5 yards for the offense. He'll set up to throw. He caught it! And he will score! Touchdown, Bayou Bengals!
Quarterback's abilities to read the field is huge, and also the anticipation and timing. To be able to throw the football, Jesse, and hit a guy in stride so he can get run after the catch and get in the end zone, that was a nice job by the quarterback.
Yeah, it's critical, David. Listen, a lot of times, touchdown passes aren't thrown into the end zone. You've got to read the coverage, hit the open guy, and let him do the rest.
And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7. And let's check in with Kevin Connors in the studio. Kevin?
Gentlemen, let's take a look at what's happening in this exciting college football game. Miami has the lead right now, but even here in the cradle of coaches, you just never know. This has been a tight one inside Yager Stadium. They're up by 7 over Buffalo. We'll circle back.
What a complete disaster. What a terrible decision to run that far backwards and take the safety.
Oh, and how about this defense? Understanding where they are in the field. They got a chance to put points on the board, and they did.
So after taking the safety, they'll line up for a free kick from their own 20. Takes it on the return. The Bayou Bengals will run the offense out onto the field. How about that last drive? Just carved him up in the air, David.
Yeah, and how about that quarterback? You gave him the ball, and he delivered the goods. Great job taking apart the defense, Jesse, on that last drive.
He really did, David. I mean, that was a masterclass in just reading coverage and being accurate.
Just working and poking and prodding and finding his way up to the 36. On third down, he drops to throw. Complete in the middle. And he was on his way. Gets it all the way to the 38. LSU right back to the line.
Hey, it's important on offense in the passing game. You've got to have balance. And I mean, you've got to be able to attack different thirds of the field. You've got to work the perimeter to both sides. You've got to let the defense know, too, that you're not afraid to go over the middle. And they did right there.
And they drag him down, but not before he picks up the first down. He's looking to throw it. Finds a soft spot in the middle. They make the stop right there. Good pickup. It's still short of the first down. Second down coming up on this red zone opportunity. The give to the back. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle. They'd love to pick up this third down and get a fresh set with first and goal. The play action fake. Fires into the end zone. And it's caught. Touchdown, Tigers.
One thing this team has shown early this year, it does not take them long to find their footing. They get off to fast starts. That was critical for them, winning their first game, and you've seen it here in this one, too. They show up ready to go. There's no sleepwalking. I think you got to give this coaching staff a ton of credit for putting their players in good positions to have success.
And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. About to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. Here he comes from inside his own 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Arizona State has the ball back, and the offense making its way onto the field. They shut it down quickly, but he gets 2 out to the 18 after picking up a couple at 2nd and 8. He's looking to throw. Fires to the wideout. And that's going to be incomplete. A lot of contact on the play, but no flags. It'll be third down. Here's the snap, ready to cut one loose. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete. And the Sun Devils will line up to punt it away. He's got great speed. Looking for running room, he'll get it to the 43-yard line before he stops. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. So the first play of the drive will come from the 43. Out of the gun, the running back has it. Nice pickup there, gets him the first down and sets him up at the 45-yard line. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Here's the handoff. And the freshman does a great job using his technique in getting the man on the ground. Picked up 2 yards on that last one. They need 8 on second down. Makes the grab on the left. Brought down at the 28. A chunk play, 15 yards on that one, and a first down. And the Tigers come to the line with a fresh set of downs. They'll go back to the ground. They knock him down right there. Got stuffed on first down. It's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw. Right down the middle. It's caught. Brought down to the ground, but he has enough for the first down. The Tigers want to move quickly. Trying to find his man on first down. Got his man on the right. That completion will take it inside the 4, and the offense is threatening. It'll be second down, and remember, they can pick up a first without scoring. The give to the tailback. Touchdown, LSU! And they add 6 more to the board for that trip to the house.
A big question mark for this offense coming into the year, guys. Who could score touchdowns? Who are going to be their biggest playmakers on offense? This guy scored in the first game. He's off to a great start in this one with that touchdown. This guy looks like the real deal.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. The kick is up and good and put one more on the lead. That drive covered 57 yards for the touchdown. And they finished it off with the score from the 4. He'll start the return inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Arizona State is going back on offense, and they come out looking for a spark. He'll come out throwing on first down. Finds his tight end. And the defense settled in to stop that one for a short gain. Got the completion on the last play. Still some work to do on second down. He's looking to throw. Oh, he just handled it poorly, and it's a fumble. And let's hold on just a minute here as the officials are going to have a second look. And you know the standard is indisputable video evidence, and the officials will change the call. They'll keep it on the ground. Defense fills those gaps. He's got 1 to the 28. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. The RPO, it's complete. He'll move it up to the 37-yard line, and it'll be a first down. Give to the back. Shakes off the tackler. They can rely on this guy to pick up solid yardage when they need it, and he's out to the 43. Off the play fake. Just a bit of a misfire there as they can't make the connection. They have it at the 43, 3rd and short, trying to avoid making a decision on fourth down. From the gun, wants to pass. Quickly complete. That'll be enough for a first down as he crosses the 50 and gets it to the 48. Fresh set of downs after the completion. Wide receiver shows motion. Try to get the edge with a quick touch pass. Able to pick his way forward for a decent gain before the defense gets him down. This offense has a second down play. They go to the ground. Finally pulled down, but not before moving the chains for a first down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. They want to run it left here. They bring him down, and he's going to lose a yard on that one. Last play didn't go well. It leaves him with 2nd and 11. He's looking to throw. And this sophomore able to wreak some havoc and get the sack.
Well, he's off to an awesome start this season. Had a sack in their last game, gets his first sack right now. I think he has a chance to be a huge focal point in this defense moving forward. But let's just worry about what's happening now. This offense has to find a way to slow him down.
And we might as well state the obvious. 1st and 2nd down didn't work out. 3rd and very long. He's looking downfield to throw. Deep shot for the end zone. Fires into traffic, picked off. And after the interception and the turnover, this defense has set its offense up for business.
And defensive backs, you think, don't have good hands. The big fella shows it. How about that defensive back going up and getting the interception? Nice job breaking on the football. You say that's why you play defense, because you don't have hands? Yeah.
LSU will dive into the playbook here on offense. He'll start this drive firing. Got his man on the right. Finally run out of bounds, but he has this offense rolling with a first down. He wants to throw. Just gets rid of the football. Nobody to throw it to. It'll be 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. He's looking for a man on 2nd down. They'll run the screen. They finally get him stopped, but what a good job by that front wall to set up the screen and create some lanes for their running back. They want to just keep throwing it. The quick out. They stop him almost immediately. Short gain there, and still a little ground to cover to pick up the first. On 2nd down, wants to throw. Grabs it inside the 10. Touchdown, LSU! And once he found open space, the band might as well start playing.
Man, that's a play this kid has been running ever since he was 7 years old at the park with his best friend, throwing them go routes right down the field. I'm running by a guy, I'm looking back, locating the football, making the catch, and he does it in a big moment here in this game.
Lining up for the PAT. And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. And for a quick update, let's go to Kevin Connors in the studio.
Week in and week out, guys, you never know what's going to happen in college football. Check this out. San Jose State has the lead right now, but if this team has taught us anything over the years, it's that no lead is safe inside old Spartan Stadium. They're up by a field goal over the Astronauts.
Fires to the tight end.
Just another week of college football where we've come to expect the unexpected. Fellas?
Oh, and how about that? I know Kevin and those guys will be keeping an eye on it for us. Good call, good execution as they move the chains and they have a first down at the 38. There's a timeout called as this offense tries to find a way to draw a little closer. Quick strike complete. Didn't pick up a lot there, moved it forward just a few. The Sun Devils want to pick up the tempo. Quarterback wants to throw on 2nd down. Makes the grab inside the 30. Touchdown, Sun Devils! Hauled it in and just kept right on running to the hallelujah land.
Number 6.
Man, nice job getting the passing game going. This is big, man. Going to the half, and listen, I know you're trailing, but building some momentum. Maybe this second half we can keep airing the football out, cutting into this deficit, and who knows what the heck will happen.
PAT unit on the field. Hit that one with some aggression for the point after. quick work on that scoring drive, just 4 plays. And the score comes courtesy of an explosive play in the passing game from 60 yards out. On the run from inside his own 5. He was looking for some running room, but not much to be found as he stopped at the 18. Leaves it with the running back. Brought down at the 28, but it's a 10-yard gain. Now on first down from the 28. We played 2 quarters here. Time to go to Kevin Connors in our halftime update.
Guys, who's got a better seat there in Death Valley than you? A captivating game so far. Each of these 2 offenses has looked like well-oiled machines, but it doesn't take a genius to figure out these 2 passing attacks have run circles around these defenses. Man or zone, nothing seems to be working. And I'm not sure that defensive coordinator is going to be able to figure things out here at halftime. With that said, let's send it back to the guys in Baton Rouge.
LSU will put foot to leather to start the second half. And here's the return. And they'll get him on the ground as the offense comes out to start the next drive. Okay, so here comes the offense returning to the field. Wants to throw on first down off the play fake. And that will be incomplete. Man, that would have been a big hitter if they could have done it, but second down coming. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. From the gun, the running back has it. Runs through a tackle.
And as an offensive coordinator, you don't need the perfect play with this guy as your running back. He's going to make the play perfect for you because he makes everybody miss. Spin moves, hurdles, stiff arms, speed, whatever it takes to move the sticks and score touchdowns.
They'll stick to the ground looking for the marker. Gets the job done on third down as he gets it out to the 25. And the Sun Devils will snap it on 1st and 10. He's going to pass. He'll take a deep shot here. Makes the catch down the right side. He was smelling that end zone, but they get him down at the 4 after the big pass play.
What a great play call offensively. Taking the shot, you flip the field, and now you better get those red zone play calls ready and dialed up.
The Sun Devils trying to get a touchdown on 1st and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. And he takes it in for the score. Touchdown, Arizona State! Sometimes we ask coaches about halftime adjustments, and they go blah, 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 blah. And then sometimes they make some good ones.
Sometimes that blah, 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 blah actually works, but it's working now. But it might be too little too late, but at least you got the party started.
Play the analytics here, and you go for 2. He's looking to pass. Makes the grab for the 2-point conversion as they cut further into that lead. Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive.
33, Arizona State, 18.
And he takes this from inside the 5. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. The Bayou Bengals will run the offense out onto the field. Handoff from the gun. Fighting off the defender. At the 35, he's loose. Nothing but green ahead. Past the 10. Touchdown, Tigers. And the punishment has been extended.
Well, this offense looked unstoppable in the first half, lighting up the scoreboard, and it doesn't look much different here in the second half. They take their first drive of the third quarter, march it down the field to score. There's no end in sight for these guys.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. That one's going to get a little star marked beside it on the play sheet. One play, explosive, touchdown just like that. And he's going to try to return this one. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. From the gun, they'll give it on the inside. Works his way into the traffic and picks up 3 to the 17. Got 3 on first down at 2nd and 7. Now on the counter. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. 3rd down, and this offense is already in a world of trouble. They could really use a conversion, not to mention multiple scores. Looking down the middle. Got him downfield. And he was loose and in the open field and on his way. A tremendous pickup on that one. Looking to go up top on first down. And this will be incomplete. A big hit there forces 2nd down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. On 2nd down, just keeps firing. Pressure in his face, and he lets it fly. That pass is incomplete, and they're probably fortunate that it wasn't knocked free for a fumble. Back to the air one more time. Ball in the air, intercepted. And they'll close in on him after a good return on the interception.
You know, I like the decision by the quarterback in terms of where he was going with the ball. Just don't like the accuracy. That was not good location on the throw. Got away from him a little bit, and the defense able to come up with a big pick.
LSU will dive into the playbook here on offense. Then that last drive, if you want to call it that, was efficient. One big run for a score, David. See if they can do it again.
Yeah, and I find it hard-pressed they're not going to give it right back to him. You break that long of a run, get a touchdown, Jesse, I'm assuming he's going to touch it again.
You're absolutely right, David. Everybody in this stadium, I think, is expecting him to get it again, too. Big-time players make big...
Touchdown, Tigers! And the pummeling has started.
After that amazing performance in Week 1, this offense wasn't content. They felt like they left some plays out on the field, even though they were able to get that win. I feel like they've taken another step. They've raised their intensity level. They've raised their execution. This team is going to be a contender this year. You can just feel it.
Getting set for the point after.
For the extra point.
The kick is up and good and puts one more on the lead. This offense prides itself on going after you, and they did with that long touchdown pass to finish off a 2-play drive. From a couple of yards deep, he'll bring it out. Rolling the dice to bring it out of the end zone did not work out as he stopped at the 13. They'll come out on this drive and let it rip. They're trying to get to it. Hit hard just as he released it on first down and just couldn't get it to the receiver. After misfiring, it's 2nd down. They're bringing heat. Good job to avoid the negative play and just get rid of that thing. You make up the game plan and not a lot on the play sheet for this. 3rd and long from inside their own 20. Feeling some heat.
If I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm thinking about chipping this defensive end with running backs. I'm leaving my tight ends in to help this tackle because we cannot block him. He's already got 2 sacks.
And the Sun Devils will call on their punt team. Doesn't say much for your drive when you're looking forward to the punt. Sometimes avoiding disaster is the best thing. The punter just gets it out of there. Returns like that are why you don't settle for the fair catch if you don't have to. Picks up just a little bit of yards to help out the O. That one never had a chance. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 here. Pre-snap motion in the backfield. On 2nd down, he's looking downfield. Finds his big tight end. They've got it inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 28. It's first down. A little too anxious along that offensive line. That'll be a false start.
False start. Offense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. The offense set for a first down play. To the ground with the back. Plows through the defense. He works his way down to the 30-yard line before he stopped a gain of 3. Defense a little too jumpy there, and they got into the neutral zone too soon.
Encroachment. Defense.
Defense just a little too eager, and that's 5 yards for the O. He's going to pass on second down. He makes the connection. Tackled immediately after the catch. Third and short from the 22. Is the field goal unit getting ready, or is this already 4-down territory? From the gun, wants to pass. Looking to scramble. He'll pull it down. Picks up the first down and gets down to avoid contact. LSU moving the ball quickly down the field. On target. They'll mark him down at the 2. The excellent execution on that throw and catch. Now on second and goal. He's looking to throw. It's incomplete. He was shooting for the end zone right there. Now from the 2-yard line after the incompletion, it's third and goal. Pushes for the goal line. He's knocked down in the backfield. He'll lose a couple. So they'll send out the field goal unit. And he's made one already, and this one ought to be cake from 21 yards out. Splits the uprights right down the middle. And they just tack on a little more to this gargantuan lead. They keep pushing that lead out, and the kickoff team's getting some work. Out of the end zone. Stopped at the 17, and he's probably second-guessing that return. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Arizona State has the ball back, and the offense making its way onto the field. From the shotgun, the inside give. They knock him down, but not before he gets it out to the 21-yard line. Pick up a 4. Solid pickup of 4 on first down. It's 2nd and 6. Right back to the well. Followed that blocking and got 5 out to the 26. 4 punts already, and they've got to convert here to avoid a 5th. Muscling ahead on 3rd and short. Tackled, but he has a first down. The Sun Devils come to the line with a new set of downs.
First down for the offense.
Pulls it, fires to the left. They make the stop, but this passing game does some damage, and they move the sticks with the first down. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. The offense setting up shop at the 46, 1st and 10. Looking to move it through the air. Floats it out in space. The defense wouldn't let him loose there, and it was a completion, but they lost yardage. Now on 2nd down.
Brings up 2nd down.
They'll run it from the gun. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see what they find in the playbook for 3rd and long from the 43. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down. And the Sun Devils will bring the punt team onto the field. They may have to pay him overtime. He's punting for the 5th time today. Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Looking for a productive play on 1st down. Out of the shotgun, they go to the ground. And he's able to bounce off one tackle for a solid pickup. And here comes the offense on 2nd down. Moving the running back, forcing the defense to adjust. It's complete. And they'll get it to the 39-yard line, and they'll move the chains. They are dialed in on this drive. A couple of chunk plays, and now they'll snap it on first down. Rifles it down the middle. And the DB forcing the incomplete pass with the deflection. After the misfire, it's 2nd and 10. He's looking to throw. Using the quick game. They get him down after he makes the catch. Some third down conversions tougher than others. This one a long one on 3rd down from the 43. Throwing right. He's got it. And this defense's head is spinning. He gets it down to the 27.
Well, Reese, you and I were talking about this before the game. How is this defense going to be able to deal with all the speed they have offensively? You saw them just rip off a big play.
And, Jesse, now their head's spinning just a little bit. Give up a big chunk play, and it's right back at them. Unloads to the wideout. A beautifully placed ball to the outside, and the toe drag for the big pickup. LSU lining up 1st and goal. The snap sets up the throw. Now adjusting. Touchdown, Bayou Bengals. And the beatdown has ensued. The offense flexes its muscle a bit and widens the gap.
Take a little exhale. You know, you did your job. You got points. Now you put your defense in a position where, hey, go out and get another stop. We're in great shape, so the offense definitely taking care of their business.
Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the extra point will tack another one onto this lead. They marched 79 yards on the drive, and he found his way to the end zone from the 7 to cap it. He'll bring it back from inside his 5. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. Arizona State is going back on offense, and they come out looking for a spark. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
Brings up 2nd down.
And you want to talk about his favorite receiver, it might be everybody, based on the number of guys getting touches and a chance to show off their hands in the passing game. Will the beatdown continue, or is this a comeback for the ages in store? We'll see as we start the 4th. Looking to pass on 2nd down. Quickly to the tight end. Stopped after making the catch. You know, David, this is really what game managing is. Nice pickup on 2nd down to help them on the next play.
Yeah, I think people look at that negative sometimes, finding a quarterback that's a game manager. No, use your brain. Set up good situations. I'm way more successful when I can keep those sticks.
And he is finding wide open defenders all over the field. His 3rd interception of the day. No real chance on the return, but they've got it at the 34.
The number one objective for a defense is to make the offense one-dimensional. Well, when they're trailing by this much, late in the game, they're one-dimensional. They have to pass the football. We can bring more speed on the field. You see it. We know you're throwing the football. Nice break on the football. Nice interception. This one's almost over.
From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game. And he was able to run through a tackle, and they finally get him, but not until he picks up the 1st down. They'll throw it on 1st down. Makes his connection. Tackled immediately after the catch. LSU looking to take advantage of this red zone trip.
2nd down coming up.
Keeping it on the ground with the single back. And they'll bring him down, but not before he picks up the 1st down. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. From the shotgun, the handoff to the back. They'll finally get him stopped at the 1-yard line. What a run there. So close to cashing it in for this offense.
Neutrals on defense.
Defense had them backed up, and then they're in the neutral zone, and the offense will say thank you very much. Slams it ahead. Touchdown, Tigers! And the stomping has commenced.
I know it's early this year, but it's obvious this guy is a focal point in this offense. After having 2 touchdowns in his first game, he gets on the board here. Doesn't matter where he lines up, they find ways to get him the football, and defenses just have not been able to figure him out.
They'll try to add another to their lead. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. About to kick it off after punching it in for the touchdown.
LSU 64, Arizona State.
The returner will field it and try to do some business. And they'll bring him down to get the offense started on the next drive. And now the offense will come onto the field again. Comes out throwing on first down. Fires to the wideout. He's got an open man. And they'll finally catch up to him, but not before a big chunk of yardage is picked up. They'll throw it on first down. Fires to the big fella. He's brought down. Solid pickup, but a little bit short of the first down. That last completion sets him up on second down.
Brings up second down.
He's looking to throw. Finds his big tight end. He stopped at the 49 after gaining 10. The Sun Devils will line it up on first and 10.
And that's good enough.
Looking to throw it again. Working that left side. Touchdown, Sun Devils! What a grab and go for the score.
Arizona State.
Yeah, good for them. They put together a drive. They got a touchdown. It's been a bad day. I mean, this is a day they're going to want to forget. They're getting destroyed, but at least you get some positive vibes. Maybe finish this game on a little bit of a high note. A little bit.
On to attempt the try.
Kicker on for the extra point.
Right down the boulevard. We check in with Kevin Connors. What's going on, Kevin?
2 very different emotions inside the locker rooms of these teams who did battle today. South Carolina showed its toughness on the road and picked up a crucial victory. And every win counts, don't get me wrong. But the victories outside of the comforts of home can really serve as a springboard. It's one game. You don't want to react too much either way. But I think both teams will leave this one with some things to work on moving forward.
Kevin, thanks a lot for that one. Sounds as if they had a good one there.
Well, that didn't bust for a long one. Now, third down becomes very manageable. It's not third in eternity. Now the whole playbook, short passing game, long passing game, all of it's available.
False start. Offense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Quick release by the QB. And he's not going to get there. The defense stands tall and makes the stop. Looks as if LSU will line up to punt it away. He'll settle for some pretty good field position and make the fair catch at around the 35. Offense getting set for first down. He's looking to throw it. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. He makes the stop, but a nice pickup there on first down. Leaves him in second and manageable.
A pickup of 8.
Some early movement along the offensive line, and they'll walk it back.
False start. Offense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. And now on second down for this offense. He's looking to throw. Got it set up on the outside. And that one looked great on the grease board, but when they blow it up like that, the defense is going to win every time. On third and long, trying to have a big completion here. It's complete. That'll be enough for the first down as they stop him at the 43-yard line. Looks as if the defense was a little too eager there, got into the neutral zone, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty.
Encroachment. Defense.
The encroachment penalty on the D gives the offense a free 5 yards. Here's the snap, looking to throw. He's going to take off. And he avoids the hit and slides after the short gain. They'll line up for a second down play. He's looking to throw. Going to try to pop one on the screen. Makes the grab, and it's enough for the first down before he's dragged to the ground. And the Sun Devils are moving quickly down the field. Movement on the offensive line. That's going to be a false start, and they'll walk it back.
False start. Offense.
The officials offer the deal, and the coach accepts it. They will take the penalty. Out of the gun, looking to throw. They're working that left side. They make the stop, but not before he takes a chunk out of what they need to move the sticks. Trying to get a rhythm in the passing game, now on second down. They move the tight end all over. Off play action. Pressure coming. Lets it fly. He caught it. Takes it to the house. Touchdown, Arizona State.
And this has been a rough day for this offense, and finally, some good things to happen. Build some momentum maybe for the future. You know, that's the way the coaches spin it when you're getting beat up and you're getting destroyed. Like, let's find something for the future. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep working. This team's done that, put some points on the board, so it's not all bad.
And that kick was perfectly down the middle. They took it 68 yards on that drive, and they finished things up with a dart from 24 yards out.
Arizona State.
Returner will field it and try to get some field position. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. Slams into the pile. He'll get 1 to the 17. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Someone not clear on the snap count. It'll be a false start, and they'll move it back.
False start. Offense.
So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Offense gets set for second down. Running back searching for a hole. Hammers ahead for a yard out to the 12. This defense has kept them backed up. Now one more stop, and they can get off the field on 3rd and long. Looking to throw, and he needs a chunk play. Got his man on the outside. He's really close to that first down marker, but they stop him just a bit short. LSU will bring the punt team on the field. A fair catch called for and made. Offense set on first down. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. He'll take the deep shot. He's got it downfield for a huge gain.
When you got a QB with this kind of arm talent, receivers with this kind of speed, they are going to be difficult to stop. They have been up and down the field. They've almost got 450 passing yards now.
To the air on first down. Getting some heat. And the defense gets to the quarterback.
And when I got a stud quarterback like they do, I'm going to protect him. I'm going to make sure that I keep him upright because he can do some serious damage. But this defense applying pressure and applying the hammer in this football game.
That is the last thing you want on first down as an offensive sack. Now it's second down. He's looking to throw. Just a short pass to the tight end. They bring him down, but a solid pickup to put them in position to pick up a first down. We've reached the 2-minute warning, and we see miracles in college football all of the time, and they could use one here. Got his man downfield. That is exactly what you're looking for when you talk explosive plays. The defense finally able to make the stop. They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down. Second down coming. After they couldn't connect, it's 2nd and 10. He wants to throw it again. It's complete to the right. He's brought down quickly. Minimal gain there. Still a bit short of the first down. Trying to move the sticks on 3rd down through the air. Finds his big tight end. And he's not going to make it. The defense denying him the first down. And on fourth down, they'll try to salvage the drive with a field goal. Didn't make them sweat at all. It's good.
I know a lot of people are scratching their heads why they try to kick that field goal. You're in the fourth quarter. You're down a boatload of points. A field goal isn't going to do it. If you want to win this game, you need touchdowns. I would anticipate for every possession they get from here on out, man, you've got to be way more aggressive.
So they're lining up to kick it off after that last drive. Put a 3 spot on the board, and now the defense will try to shut them down. Looking for an alley from inside his own 10. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. On first down, here comes this offense. Out of the gun, the give to the back. Crosses the 30, he's got a lane. That's the kind of play that can really get you going as they get it out to the 36. Plenty of fireworks in this one. A lot of points. They always talk about having the chalk last, and it seemed like whoever was on offense had the last laugh.
Yeah, it's amazing how much offenses have just boomed in college football. So good, so many ways to hurt you, and you saw both of these offenses put on a show today, Jess.
Dave, we talked to both of these coaching staffs, and their defensive coordinators were losing sleep all week. They knew this was going to be a tough task ahead of them. So much speed, so much firepower on both of these offenses. And, man, we saw that here today.
So that's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, I'm Reese Davis saying so long. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.